In this lesson, we are going to discuss the order of operations. Let's start by looking at an example. Here I have the expression 4 times 5 plus 3. Now I'm going to solve this same expression two different ways to show why we need an order of operations. On the left side, I'm going to start by multiplying 4 times 5. I know that 4 times 5 is 20, so I can rewrite this expression as 20 plus 3. Now when I add those two numbers together, I get a final answer of 23. Let's look at the equation on the right. This time, I'm going to start by adding 5 plus 3. I know that 5 plus 3 is 8, which will change my expression to 4 times 8. And when I do that multiplication, I get a final answer of 32. So you see we have two different answers here. So how do we know which one is correct? Well, this is where the order of operations comes in. The order of operations is a collection of rules that determine which operations to perform first in order to solve a given mathematical expression. So the order of operations was created to make sure that we don't have this problem of solving in different orders and getting different answers. We've decided that we have an agreed upon way to solve expressions in the same order so that we all come to the same solution. All right, let's go ahead now and write down what that order of operations is. I did not put a pencil on this slide, but you do need to have this in your notes. According to the order of operations, the first thing we do is we solve any numbers or operations within the parentheses. Once we have no more parentheses in the expression, we move on and simplify any exponents. Remember, yesterday we learned that exponents represent repeated multiplication. So simplifying an exponent means you would just do that multiplication. Next, you do any multiplication or division. Now, these two operations are done in the same step and are performed left to right, meaning you start all the way on the left of an expression and you move towards the right. As you move, any division or multiplication that you see, you're going to solve that first before you move further to the right. And that is the same for our final step, which is addition and subtraction. These are also done in the same step, and you complete these operations left to right. Make sure you have this in your notes. If you need to pause the video for more time to write it down, you can do that now. One way that a lot of people tend to remember the order of operations is with an acronym. And that's when we keep the first letter of each word and we put them in the right order and create a made-up word, which in this case is PEMDAS. PEMDAS stands for the order of operations, which again are parentheses, then exponents, then multiplication and division, then addition and subtraction. If you've never heard this acronym before, make sure you also write this down in your notes too. All right, now let's look at a couple of example problems. We're going to start by solving the expression 2 times 3 squared plus 24 minus 12 divided by 2. I'm going to start by looking for any parentheses and solving the operations within them. I see the parentheses around 24 minus 14. And if you haven't seen parentheses before, they're just these curved lines that go around a set of numbers and operations and basically group those numbers and operations together so that they're done first. So I know that 24 minus 14 is 10. So I'm going to now rewrite this expression with 10 instead of those parentheses. Now I don't have any more parentheses left in my expression, so I'm going to move on and evaluate any exponents. I see 3 squared, which we talked about yesterday, means that we have 3 multiplied by itself 2 times. So 3 squared is really 3 times 3, which I know is 9. So I'm going to rewrite this expression now with 9 instead of 3 squared. Now that I've evaluated all the exponents, I'm going to move on and work from left to right to do any multiplication and division. So here you can see we have both multiplication and division left in our expression. But I'm going to start with whatever is further to the left, which means I'm going to start by multiplying 2 times 9. I know that 2 times 9 is 18, so I'll rewrite this expression as 18 plus 10 divided by 2. Now, I can't move on to my next step yet because I still have some division left in this expression. So I need to divide 10 by 2 before I can move on. I know that 10 divided by 2 is 5, so I'll rewrite this expression with a 5 instead. And now I just need to work through any addition or subtraction. So I'll do that final addition statement, 18 plus 5, which gives me 23 as my final answer. So just to review, we started with the parentheses, then we simplified the exponents, we did the multiplication that was further to the left, then the division that was further to the right, and we ended by doing any addition or subtraction, but we only had addition in this case. Let's look at another example. This time I am going to solve the expression 24 divided by 2 to the third power minus 2 plus 5 times 6. Again, we're going to start with any operations that lie inside a parenthesis. So I see 5 times 6 within that parenthesis. So that's where I'm going to start. I know that 5 times 6 is 30, so I'll rewrite this expression with a 30 instead. Next, I need to move on and evaluate any exponents. The only exponent I see is 2 to the third power, or 2 cubed, which I know means that we're going to have 2 multiplied by itself 3 times. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8. So I'm going to rewrite this expression as 24 divided by 8 minus 2 plus 30. I've just evaluated that 2/3 exponent and made it into an 8. Next, I'm going to work left to right and do any multiplication and division. Starting from the left, I scan and immediately see some division, so I'm going to start there. 24 divided by 8 will give me 3, so I'll rewrite this expression as 3 minus 2 plus 30. Finally, and my animations are out of order, but I need to do any subtraction or addition working left to right. When I start on the left and scan, the first subtraction that I see is 3 minus 2, so I'm going to start there, and that'll become 1 plus 30. There's my last step, but now we just need to do the addition that's left, and I know that 30 plus 1 is 31, and that will give us our final answer. So to review, we started by doing the parentheses 5 times 6. We then evaluated this exponent and did 2 multiplied by itself 3 times, which gave us 8. Then we needed to do this division of 24 divided by 8 and got 3. And finally, we did addition and subtraction left to right. Starting with 3 minus 2, we got 1, and then did 1 plus 30 to get 31. Let's look at one more example. This time, we're going to solve the expression 24 plus 16 minus 2 times 3 divided by 5. Now, I went ahead and put all the steps for the order of the operations out for us because this time, we're going to still work in order, but we do go out of order a little bit, and I'll show you how. So again, we're going to start with anything inside the parentheses, which in this case is 16 minus 2 times 3. Now, I can see that I have subtraction and multiplication within these parentheses. So how do I know which to do first? Well, we're just going to go back to the order of operations. I don't have any parentheses within my parenthesis. I don't have any exponents, but I do have some multiplication and division. So I'm going to start with the 2 times 3. Even though it comes second in that part of the parentheses, because I'm following the order of operations, I know that multiplication always comes before subtraction. So I'll rewrite this expression now as 24 plus 16 minus 6, which is that 2 times 3, and then divided by 5. Now, I'm going to go back to step number 1 because I still have some parentheses, and I'm going to evaluate what's inside. 16 minus 6 will leave us with 10. So now we'll have 24 plus 10 divided by 5. And I can go back to working through the order of operations in our normal order. I don't have any parentheses anymore. I don't have any exponents. Now I'm going to work left to right and look for any multiplication and division, and I see 10 divided by 5. So I'm going to simplify that division and rewrite the expression as 24 plus 2. Finally, I need to do any addition or subtraction, so I got 24 plus 2 will give me 26. And just to review, we started with the parentheses, but because the parentheses had subtraction and multiplication within inside, we needed to do the multiplication first. Then we still worked through the parentheses since we did that subtraction. And then we were able to move on, do any division or multiplication, and do any addition or subtraction. All right, now it's your turn. I'm going to start by putting the order of operations on the screen for you. Remember, it goes PEMDAS, parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, or subtraction. If you did not get these in the notes, make sure that you do that now. All right, you will need to solve 3 practice problems today. Number 1 is 12 plus 2 times 3. Number 2, 4 squared divided by 8 plus 6. And finally, number 3, 12 times 3 minus 14 plus 6. Remember to use the order of operations to correctly solve these expressions. All right, let's see how you did. Starting with number 1, we have 12 plus 2 times 3. I don't have any parentheses or exponents in this expression, so we'll move down to that multiplication and start by multiplying 2 times 3, which is 6. Then we're going to do any addition or subtraction that we see, and I know that 12 plus 6 is going to give me a final answer of 18. Moving on to number 2. 4 squared divided by 8 plus 6. We don't have any parentheses within this expression, so we can move on to the exponent 4 squared, which means we're going to have 4 multiplied by itself 2 times. 4 times 4 is going to give us 16, so we'll rewrite this expression as 16 divided by 8 plus 6. Next, I need to move on to multiplication and division, and I see 16 divided by 8, which will give me 2, and we'll rewrite this expression as 2 plus 6, which we can solve by adding and get a final answer of 8. For number 3, we need to start with what's in the parentheses. So when we have 12 times 3 minus 14 plus 6 in the parentheses, I'm going to start by doing that addition at the end because it's within those brackets. 14 plus 6 will give me 20. Now we have 12 times 3 minus 20. I know that I need to do multiplication before subtraction, so this will become 36 minus 20 because 12 times 3 is 36. And I'll end by subtracting and get a final answer of 16. Great job watching your lesson video for today. Now it's time for you to complete your problem set. Make sure you go back to Google Classroom and find the problem set under our Classwork tab. Here are our directions. Today you will have 3 error analysis questions. Remember, an error analysis is when you look for a mistake in a solution, determine why that is incorrect, and then find the correct answer. For all of the errors in your problem set today, they are all going to be procedural. Remember, a procedural error is when a student or a person makes a mistake within the process. So they're doing the math correctly, but they may not be following the correct steps, or in this case, the correct order of operations. So that means that you guys do not need to be checking the student's math. If there's any multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, whatever, that's all done correctly, but it may not be done in the correct order. So you're trying to find the error somewhere in that process. Don't forget to ask Miss Marshall if you need any help. Good luck.